Hello, it is Monday, September 16th, and I just thought I'd show you what I'm doing this evening. I've got a couple of hives here at my house that are getting a little bigger than some of the others here. Most of the hives here at my house are just small nooks that I started earlier in the summer, and these two hives are really just full-size hives right now. And what I want to do is get them moved to a different yard. So, but they're heavy. My top super box, or the top box on the stack, is completely full of honey, which is what I want. But I'd like to move these bigger hives to a different yard, and then I'm going to bring back a couple of small nooks that I still have in one of my other yards. So I'm just going to kind of swap places with these, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So this hive here on this end, this one right here, this is pretty much a full-size hive to me. It's three mediums, and it's got tons of bees, and I just want to move it out of this yard. Most of these hives are just small hives that I don't want this big hive getting the idea that it can rob out one of these smaller hives. And we're getting really into robbing season right now, so I want to move it. And then I have another one in the next row, right here. This one right here is basically the same way. It's bigger than I want. The problem is these boxes are heavy. They're full of honey, and they're just about ready for winter. So I can't really pick one of these up and move it by myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stack and that stack, and I'm just going to take them apart a little bit to where I can set them on the ground right next to where they're at. And this one on that side and this one on the other side here, I'll just set it right on the ground, and then I'll leave it that way for the next couple of hours. And then just as it gets dark, I'll come close them up, and then I can put a ratchet strap on them and get a hand truck underneath them and wheel them around. I've got a couple of ramps. I can load them into my truck fairly easy. So that's what I'm going to do, just so I can move these two hives. I'm just going to take them apart a little bit, set them on the ground. They'll be fine. I've done this before this way. Works pretty well. Keep my veil on. You can see there's a few clouds that are a little bit darker, and the bees may not be very happy this evening. They're out flying. They're not finding too much to bring in. There's not much out there anymore. A little bit of rabbit brush. The little purple asters are blooming. There's a few things blooming. There's some Russian sage and some sunflowers are still blooming. But other than that, there's just not much going on. So these bees may not be very happy with me doing this, and I'm just going to take this hive, and I'm just going to move it right onto the ground right next to it. But I'm going to have to take this top box off because it's too heavy. I can't pick it up all together. So these girls may not be very happy with me doing this. Hopefully they don't get too... Oh! That box is full. I'm hoping I can pick this up. That wasn't too bad. Now I can just leave them just like that. The entrance is still open. They can still get in. They're going to be a little bit disoriented as to where the entrance is at, but it won't take them very long to figure that out. And they'll all go back inside as it cools down here a little bit, as it gets dark. So I'm going to do the same thing to this one. I'm just going to set it on the ground right next to it. Oh! This one's doesn't have as many bees, but it's still got plenty of honey. And these hives still smell like apigard. Now that's all I really needed to do. Just get that set on the ground, and the bees will find their way in. They won't get lost. And here in a couple hours, as it gets dark, I'll come back and put a ratchet strap on those and close off the entrance for a little bit, load them into my truck. And I'm gonna check this. I think, yeah, top's already closed off, so that'll be that. Okay, it's about 30 minutes after I moved these hives to the ground. And the bees are still flying a little bit, but you can see that it's mostly just settled right down. There's a few still trying to find their way back in, but here in a few minutes they'll calm down and figure it out. And then I'll be able to close up the entrance and get them moved. In the meantime, I've got some syrup, and I'm just going to drop some syrup on some of these small nooks that still need a little bit of feed. There's nothing out there for them, so if your hives are light, you've got to get some food on them. For the most part, these are looking pretty good, but they're just a little bit light still. And with nothing coming in, I don't want them to stop raising brood yet. Pretty much all there is to it. Pop the lid and give them some food. This hive's not done quite as well as these other ones. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to combine it. We'll give them another week or so. As long as the bottom these two boxes down here are full, they'll be okay. But if these two boxes don't have enough bees in them, then I'm going to have to combine them with something else. And it might be this hive right here. They're not as big as I'd like them to be. And that's all I'm doing. Shuffling hives around and giving them some syrup. Now this hive is just booming. And they've got feed up through here. They're in good shape. But I don't want them to go backwards over the next month and a half. We're probably till the end of October before it's to the point where it's cool enough that they're going to cluster most of the time. So we've got a month and a half for them to take down a little more feed, hopefully build a little more brood. Have plenty of bees for winter. That's the goal. That's what they're making right now, is those winter bees. And I want to make sure they have enough food to do that with. You can see even this hive has pretty well calmed down from me setting them down on the ground. Got a few bees still flying. It's not dark yet, but here in a little bit they'll pretty well be in for the night, and I can close up the entrance and get them moved. Okay, here's my setup for moving hives by myself. Since I have to do it alone, I'm a one-man show. I put a mesh screen across the front door. I don't know if you can see that or not. That still gives a little air, but hopefully nobody can come in or out. I've still got a few flying here tonight, even though it's getting pretty dark. And then I just have a couple of ramps, and a little hand truck. And what I'll do is I'll take a couple of ratchet straps, put around that hive so it doesn't come apart, doesn't move at all. And then I'll just grab it with the hand truck and wheel it right into the back of the truck. At least that's the theory. I always put 2 ratchet straps on hives when I move them. I don't move hives very often. I don't like to, because it's just me, and the way I do things, I don't have to move them very often, but occasionally I'll start a nook here in my home yard and it'll get big enough where I want to move it to a production yard. And that's the case with these two. So I'll just get these strapped up. I guess I need to invest in one of the hive lifters so that I don't have to do this way, but I don't have enough money to do that. The bees have got to make some more money if they're going to allow me to do that. Make sure my lid's on good. Make sure the door's closed good. Okay. Watch me struggle getting this into the truck. Oh. I find that it's usually easier to go backwards. Oh. There's one. Okay. They're loaded up. I'll go drop them off. And I'll just put them right next to the hive stand where they're going to be. And then I'll open up the entrances and let them out. And they'll reorient, and then in a day or two I'll go restack them back up on the hive stand where they belong.